This particular YouTube channel is called Scott DevOps.
In this quick video, we're going to take a look at using GitHub and some basic Git commands. So here I'm in a GitHub repository on the GitHub website, and I click the new button to create a new repository. So here I'm going to type in a repository name. We'll call it demo site, and description. This is for a YouTube video. So we'll do that. We won't choose any of these other options, and then I will click the create repository button. So now it brings you to a screen like this that shows you the basic commands that you need to run on your command line, and we'll go through those commands next. I've opened up a command prompt and went into a directory called code, and then I created a directory called demo site, and we'll be using that for the rest of this video. So let's go ahead and change into that directory. So here, following the directions that you see here on the left side in the GitHub repo, it says echo and then pound demo site, and then it pipes it or puts it into a file called README.md. So I changed that slightly, and you can see that here in my command window. So we'll go ahead and hit the enter key and run this command. So here you can see it did create the file. So now we have a file to work with, and we're going to run the other commands to get this pushed up to GitHub. I also wanted to mention that I am installing the Git for Windows. Currently it's version 2.38.1, and it comes to this screen during the setup process to install the Git credential manager. So I wanted to mention that I am going to have that installed also. That will be important to be able to log into GitHub from a command line. I'm also downloading and installing the GitHub command line interface, and that's the web page you see here. And I'm on a Windows machine, so it may be slightly different for your operating system. So I'm going to start running some of these other commands you see here in this section of the web page. So now we'll start running some of the commands that you see here that are recommended by GitHub after creating the repository. So we got a README file created. Now let's do the git init to initialize things. So you can see the message that it put out there. And now I'm going to do git config user.email, and it would be your email at gmail.com, whatever your email would be, for example. And then you also need to configure your username. So your GitHub name. Now we'll actually put in my real username and email off screen. If you would like to see all the parameters that have been set up now, you can type in this command, git config -- list. So now we'll run the next command, which is git add readme. Here we can type git status. So you can see that it mentions our new file, readme.md, here. Now let's go ahead and commit. And we use this command here. Git commit -m, my first commit to this repo. And then we can run a git status again. And you can see there how it says one file changed, one insertion. Okay, and then I will actually run this next command as they suggest. Git branch minus capital M main. And then here I've copied this next command and I'll paste it into my command window. And then press enter. So now we've set up our remote to point at our GitHub repository for this code. Now I'll use the Windows GitHub command line CLI and I'll do GitHub auth login. And so here you can see it's letting us know it's requesting access to this account. So then I will click the authorize GitHub. And then it tells you, great, you're all set. So we can close that window. So the next thing, I'm going to run this last command here and do the git push. That will send the code up to the GitHub repository. And so there you can see it used our authentication and it used the correct URL to push the code. Now if we come back here to the GitHub website and either hit the refresh button in the browser or click, in my case, demo site, you'll see here that it says my first commit to the repo. That's what we typed in. And if we click right here, we can see my first commit to this repo. If we click on that, you can see right here, that's the README file and the comment that was added in the README file. So that's basically how to create a new repository from the GitHub website, to go to your command line, to run those commands we saw, and to get your code pushed up to the GitHub repository from a Windows 10 command line. I hope that was helpful, and we'll see you in another video.
If you like this channel, please like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when I post new content.